Hello, and welcome to this interview with Eric Furfine, Chief Executive and Scientific Officer of Mosaic Biosciences. Mosaic is a sponsor at Resi Boston this September. Eric will share insights into Mosaic's approach to collaboration and innovation, what sets their team apart, and the types of partnerships they're looking to build at Resi Boston. Life Science Nation is happy to feature Mosaic Biosciences in our Next Phase newsletter. Thank you, Eric, for being a Resi Boston sponsor. And for those attending our upcoming Resi conference who may not know you yet, can you introduce Mosaic and how your platform supports biotech partners from concept to candidate?
Sure. Thank you for the invitation. And at Mosaic, we're a partnered research organization. We call ourselves a PRO. We work very closely with our partners in doing drug discovery research. What really sets us apart is that we bring strategic advice from strategic drug hunters who've moved medicines into the clinic and beyond. And they allow us to not only do great lab work and experiments, but provide strategic advice on the directions of the program and how to design something to be a medicine and how to think about making a medicine. The other thing that we have as an advantage is we provide a really full service, fully integrated platform where you can come to us with really as little as an idea, and we can create the plan and actually ultimately deliver you the clinical development candidate that's ready for starting IND enabling work. In fact, because we have all those things, many companies come to us and actually work almost completely virtually through Mosaic. So they have some strategic, often biology-oriented scientists on their sides that we work very closely with and collaboratively, and they see us as essentially an extension of their company and their laboratories. They really don't need to go anywhere else because we have all that they need for this. We're agnostic to therapeutic area, though we do have a specialty in ophthalmology. While our focus is on protein therapeutics, we're very strong in antibody engineering and protein engineering and creating antibody and protein therapeutics. We have helped companies with other therapeutic modalities like gene therapy as well.
So you've touched on this a little bit, but you describe yourself as a team of drug hunters, problem solvers. How does that mindset influence your approach to collaboration and innovation with early stage drug delivery discovery?
Yeah, so it's really important to recognize that you need to understand what you want to do before you start trying to do it. And so what we do as drug hunters is we work closely with our partners to create a product profile of the thing that we want to create. And once you have that profile and you really understand the ins and outs of what the drug or the therapeutic really needs to do, then you can start designing experiments that prove whether you have it or not. But if you don't start with that pre-existing knowledge and work with experienced people who know the kinds of things you have to consider to make a medicine, not just a compound, but a medicine, you don't get to the end where you want very well if you don't have that pre-existing planning. And then it's really important to have the talented scientists that we have in the state-of-the-art laboratories that we have in Boulder, Colorado, to make sure that we can actually deliver on the plan. We do this in a way that we really work very closely with our partners. They bring a lot of scientific expertise too. And it's really the combination of our scientists, our drug hunters, their scientists and drug hunters working together, thinking about things together, looking at the data together, that sets us apart, improves the probability of success of getting to where they want to go.
Can you talk a little bit more about your team in Boulder?
We really have everything you would need to do to make a candidate protein therapeutic, be it a non-antibody therapeutic or de novo discovery of antibody therapeutics or engineering antibodies. We have all the assays that you would need to characterize the molecules, and we have access to all the kind of downstream work that you have to think about. For example, developability. How do you make sure that your compound will survive the rigors of manufacturing and delivery in the clinic? Does it have the right pharmacokinetic properties? Does it have the right biomarker changes that are induced when you give it to, animal models often? We provide that full service. Because we have all of those elements in the company, there's really a connectivity as you move through each of the stages. There's a knowledge transfer that happens that doesn't happen if you have to use multiple CROs to try and do something.
That's really interesting. And when you're going to Resi Boston as a sponsor, what types of collaborators or early stage companies are you hoping to connect with there?
We really like the early stage of the business and people that are looking to make innovative medicines, especially protein therapeutics, because as I said, we can help others. The kinds of things that you do to make a medicine are heavily overlapping in terms of the types of assays you need to do to prove that the biology is happening. So we're looking for anybody looking to make innovative medicines to work with. We do have that specialty on the protein side, but we like to work with anybody. The other thing that's important to keep in mind is we want to meet investors too, because sometimes investors, while they're looking for small companies to invest in, they have some ideas of their own that they're brewing, and they have to do, some de-risking on some of these ideas. And we're the perfect place to go to de-risk concepts for a lot of venture investors who are thinking about creating a company but haven't quite got to that point. So early stage, seed, Series A companies are good. Investors looking to test things out. Academics who want to start that translational, how do I get from the point that I'm doing laboratory research and now move it into something that someone would invest in? We're great at helping those kinds of people move forward as well. That's kind of where our sweet spot is. And they can come to us and not build the whole thing themselves or even any of it because we can do almost all of it.
Interesting. Okay, so you're looking, when you're at Resi, you're looking for early stage innovators as well as investors and
Absolutely.
academics.
Yes.
So that's those are who should be reaching out to you at the conference. So thanks for letting us know that. That's interesting to know. And your team of drug hunters has taken multiple compounds from exploration into the clinic. How
Yes.
does this experience, and you've talked about this already, but how does this experience help set Mosaic apart when it comes to turning these ideas into viable drug candidates?
Just come back to the earlier comments. It's really important to create a vision for what you want your therapeutic to do. And you start by understanding, what do I want it to do in the clinic? What do I want it to do when a human is exposed to this therapeutic or drug or molecule? What are the things that I want to change? What are aspects that I want to avoid? How frequently does it need to be administered? What are the side effects that we want to avoid? What are the efficacy markers that we want to have? And once you have that clinical picture, you can then say, what can we do preclinically in the labs at Mosaic or some of our partner labs that we work with? What
Hmm.
can we do to generate data that makes us think this molecule is going to behave like we want in the clinic? So that's the biology side. But there's a second side. There's this whole aspect of developability that's beyond the biology. You have to make sure your molecule can sustain the rigors of manufacturing and transport and the like, and the whole commercialization aspect that's not just the biology. And our drug hunters, because we've seen lots of molecules and we know where things can happen to trip companies up and the pitfalls that can be dodged, we're thinking about those things ahead of time so that we make sure we identify a molecule that can not only treat the disease when it's administered, but survive all the parameters that are necessary for commercialization, like on the manufacturing side.
And I know that you guys refer to yourself as a PRO versus a CRO, definitely setting yourselves apart there. So, partnered research organization. And my last question for you, as a sponsor, you'll be visible throughout the Resi experience. You'd mentioned attending Resi JPM this past January. What are you looking most forward to at this event, and how can attendees connect with you on site?
That's a good question. I mean, I presume it's going to be similar to what we did in the past, where we have a booth there and we'll have people, including myself, manning that booth there so they can certainly stop by. I think there's the typical electronic make meetings sessions that are available that will make
Yeah.
ourselves available to.
Yes. So you'll have multiple people attending on behalf of Mosaic. Yes. So
Yes,
you'll be
yeah,
taking
yeah,
virtual meetings as well as
yeah.
you'll be at your
In
booth on
yeah,
site.
in
Hmm.
face to face, absolutely, where we
Okay,
can
great.
talk. Conversations are better than anything for me
Mhm.
because you can really dig in to understand. What's important to us is we need to understand what our partners are looking to do, and then we can figure out ways to help. We don't want to just come out and say, oh, we do this, we do that. We really want to understand what our potential partners want to accomplish, and then we can see where we might be the best fit for them. And maybe they only want to use part of our platform. Maybe they want the whole thing. But, it's through these conversations, that close collaboration that sets us apart, that allows us to be a place where people want to go, especially early stage companies where they have limited resources, they have limited skill sets there. And when they come to Mosaic, they get access to a lot of the things that they're missing.
I have one more question.
Okay.
When you're talking about the companies you work with, what type of scale do you work domestic, globally?
Most of our partners are in the US. That's the
Okay.
primary, but we are interested in expanding to, the EU and anywhere
Okay.
that people might feel like we can offer. We're not concerned about time zones too much. Most important is we want to work with people who want to collaborate. And because that's our business model, is to work closely with them and make sure that we decide things together as a group, and that they get ultimately what they want.
Well, I did throw in an additional question for you, but I'm glad I did because, as you know from attending JPM, Resi's a global conference and we have people from all over the world. So that's good to know. Thank you for your time today, Eric. I look
Yeah,
forward to seeing you at Resi Boston in September.
yeah, me too.